That's mine. No, that's mine.com. Oh, we can't see everybody, but I say they're doing some remodeling to the house, and see, even the outside place is getting better too. I mean, everything's coming together now. But what I wanted to talk about is I've noticed these. I've noticed a lot. They got some young men. They're in their 20s, and this is a bunch of construction people, and they're getting yelled at. I mean, the tongue lashing is deep. So, but I thought what it reminded me of. Okay, I joined the Marines when I was 18 years old. Going through boot camp, they yell at you. They are mean. At the time that I was in, it was during the Vietnam War, and they were just downright brutal. I mean, not only the verbal abuse that you go through, but going through boot camp, we had physical abuse. They were really abusive, and but it was to prepare you to go to war, and war is very abusive. But see, hey, let's go. But the thing I noticed is they got all these workers running around here, and one woman. And at first I thought maybe she was a wife of somebody or something, but I don't believe so. But the thing that got me is it brought to my attention, when you're a young man, and I've mentioned this before, as a young man, it's tough. Now I understand nowadays for one thing, I say I was self-employed, so I was the one yelling at everybody. That's why the Marines was such a big thing for me. I've never had people yell at me before, but and I say that was the only time I've had people really verbally abusive to me. And you learn this as a young man, and young men, that's how they get toughened up. Nowadays, the way society is set up, and then they go to college and all this, and people don't yell at you when you're in college and stuff like that. Only when they get drunk and they get that kind of stuff. So, and I don't even think they do it as much as they used to do it when I was young. I mean, it was very, very verbal. I mean, cussing was big time, and people calling you all kinds of names, stuff like that. And I think it's funny because nowadays all these young men are so damn sensitive. Somebody calls them some kind of bad name or something, they gotta kind of think that they're some kind of badass or something. But I say that is part of being a young man before you can become a true man, an older man. You have to go through all this. And since you haven't, nowadays they don't go through it that much. Like I say, I've seen more of it today than what I've seen in a long, long time. And that's because they just don't do that anymore. And the thing is, since they don't do it, okay, I was checking her out. She's okay. But since they don't do it, they really get hanging around these damn women, they get pretty feminine. And it's hard to act like a young man or a younger male. When you're not, when that type of talk, um, working up a sweat, hard work, uh, men don't have that anymore. And so when you're a young man and you don't get it, as you're not going to get accustomed to it as you get to be a younger man. And so that's why I think the only place you can become really manly is, it looks like, in the construction business. I say in ranch business, ranch kids, farm kids. If you know any of them, you know they're different. And the reason they're different, they've been yelled at. They know what it's like to take personal responsibility, and that's how you learn as a man to take personal responsibility. Is you got somebody yelling at you, and now, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of these new young men that are saying, "Well, no, we don't have that problem. We take personal responsibility." No, you don't even know what personal responsibility is until you have people yelling at you, getting in your face, and getting ugly. And like I say, I was 18 years old when I made a mistake. Somebody died, and that's what I noticed on these construction people here. One of the crews, they had, I think one got killed and one was seriously injured a year ago. And even they're even a little different. They don't take death, especially accidental death, stuff like that. They're used to government control. OSHA controls these people, tells them what they can do, how to strap stuff on their trailers, and all this stuff. So they're kind of used to having government control. And I say, when I was younger, we didn't have all that government control. And that's why I was having a hard time adjusting. Because, like I say, more and more, I mean, you're talking I'd say probably the 80s, it started really, 1980s, it really started getting more and more government control. And this political correct crap and all this, you can't call people names and stuff like that. I mean, man, I remember when I was young, they always called everybody names. I mean, like I say, now I think that's one of the things that makes military such a unique type of an experience, because I still think in the military they do call people names. I think not so much as they used to, but when I was in, they used to really call you all kinds of names and stuff like that, try to piss you off, because they want to push you as far as you can be pushed. I don't think the young men get pushed now. They don't know what it's like. You don't want to be a mama around a young man that's learning. And this is what I'm amazed on all these construction people, how they don't have enough help. They don't. And that's because these young men, they don't take a tongue lashing. They don't even know how to take a tongue lashing. And you need to get some tongue lashing somewhere to get you to do what you need to do. And and I say, with the political correctness, it really makes it difficult. And with this, like I say, they had a woman with them, and I'll tell you that with the woman working with a bunch of men, that changes everything. I mean, you can't even go pee anywhere, without a damn woman. I don't even know. The one thing I noticed, that they did send her off. She does a lot of the errands. She gets in the truck and drives off and gets parts and stuff like that. And if that's the way it's going to be, I could pretty much see that. But still, I can't really see the woman trying to do man's work is not a good thing. I don't know what the woman is getting out of it. I really don't. In their particular case here, they need help so bad that they're hiring women. But I say, it's when you're getting tongue lashed, and there's a woman around, it's kind of embarrassing. It embarrasses you. But without the woman around, you're just getting tongue lashed, and that's it. Your manhood might get threatened, and so you might try to do something on that. But with a woman, it's really kind of embarrassing. It adds worse. It's worse. The tongue lashing is worse when the woman's there to watch you getting tongue lashed. And then uh, I noticed even with the woman, they can't yell at her. They can't. I mean, and I say she's in her 20s too, and no, it's not a good thing. And I think with our society getting like that, it's not good for our society as Americans. And because, like I say, now I haven't been to Europe, so I can't talk about Europe, but I notice in Asia, the women's do the women's stuff and the men do the men's stuff. And I noticed that in Asia, a lot of these young men would get yelled at and all this kind of stuff. But I never thought about it. But I got to remember, I don't speak the language. So here, it's a little more. I'm getting a little bit more out of it. But like I say, I do think I think it's cool that, like I say, they're yelling at these young men, and these young men are apprenticed. They're learning the trade, and uh, can you learn the trade without being yelled at? I don't know. Probably you can, but like I say, you're missing the part of being manly, and that's the part that I think is really tough. And I think that's why they're saw something in the water. I don't know what it was. But that does affect on growing up and being a man. I've said between 18 and 21, that's the time to get out and away from all this political correctness and get amongst men so you learn what being a man is all about. And you don't have mama to watch over you. And I bet you even nowadays the daddies even watch over them now. But like I say, no, I let my boy go out and get the shit happen to my boy, and because like I say, that's how he's going to be a man. And but like I say, he didn't really get in that much kind of stuff, but he's gotten to the computer stuff, and he's around the women. So it's different, and you can really tell. And I really hate saying it like that, but like I say, I'm really scared about what's happening to our males in this new American society, and these women. I say they start thinking, that they can do all this stuff. They can do anything. I will admit, a woman can do anything much better than a man. But does that mean the woman's supposed to do it? No. The man has still got to do the man's stuff. And that's part of being a man, is that tongue lashing that's going on, and getting in their shit, making sure they take responsibility, and yelling at them, getting nasty. It's really an important part of life. And if you're a man and you're in your 20s or 30s and you haven't been yelled at when you were a young man, you missed out on a lot. You really have. But anyway, I thought I'd mention that to you because, like I say, this is something I've been observing, and it answers a lot. And I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and like I say, it's seldom. This is the first woman that I saw working at all, anyway, in doing man stuff. So, but like I say, now I understand a whole lot more, and it's scary. But anyway, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com.